5 things I wish I knew before buying a Subaru WRX. This video mainly applies to my VB WRX, which is a 2022 plus WRX. So if you own the same type of WRX, this really applies to you. And this is a very updated, most up-to-date. It is October of 2025. So this is a very, very up-to-date 5 things I wish I knew that are very unique to the ownership of this car. And if you guys are not already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It would really help me out and you will learn so much about WRXs. I'm also building a VA WRX. I'm building a 2016 WRX, and there are like 10 mods coming to my 2022 WRX. Lots of cool stuff coming. Number 1 on our list is the fact that this car has a power limit. Now, I guess what I want to put on this one is not so much that the engine has a power limit, because the engine can make more power modified than I have space to really have fun with. You can make well into the 500s with this engine with actually not that much money as long as you have the right fueling type. I think the more disappointing thing is the transmission. Now you can run high horsepower builds on this transmission, but you have to be pretty careful. And I guess I kind of knew this, but if I was somebody that didn't know as much about these cars, I guess the big thing that I wish that I knew beforehand is that if you want to make 500 plus wheel horsepower, which is very few of you guys, but if you spend $5,000 or $6,000 on this car, you can make 500 plus wheel horsepower, or even in the 400s, and you get to the realm of like, maybe you want to put an STI transmission into the car. So if you're making like 450 wheel horsepower, you got to be careful about how you're driving your car around a little bit. Not that it's going to fail immediately, but you're kind of really at the edge of what it can do, and you're running probably lower torque than you could make to protect it. So that's the other thing. Like if you do the whole flex fuel, if you get to a new turbo, even if you got that much work into it, you're getting to the realm of like, your tuner's gonna adjust your torque. You could put an STI transmission into it and then it solves all the problems, but you know, it's one of those things that you kind of, it's so easy to make power on this. It's something that I'd love for you guys to know up front, because I think that's a pretty important thing. And then actually, while I'm here on the front of the car leaning, because it is so much more comfortable than jumping around the car, one of the other things that always makes the list is the paint. And now I've owned this car for a lot longer, so I'm gonna bring it up. You know, I think last year I made a video similar to this and the paint was, I think, number 5. The paint issue is now number 2 on our list, because the paint and gloss coat on this car is so damn thin that there's very little room for error. What do I mean by that? The paint is so thin on most modern cars, because paint technology has increased in power so much, that the paint lasts forever. It's not gonna peel like we had in old cars. What doesn't happen very well is any little, like, you know, I guess, how do I say this? You don't have as much room for error. So let's say you get a little ding, or like something hits it, or something scratches a little bit. Previous cars and older cars, you'd have so much more room in the gloss coat and you'd have so much more room in the paint to buff that out. Modern cars don't really have that as much. You can to an extent, but it's not like it used to be. So I would say, I strongly believe with modern cars, you got to be a lot more careful than people are, and they don't understand that if you make a little scratch in your paint, it's not like it used to be. A little, like some little paint damage, like the classic is when somebody, like, you know, scratches their car up against something. Let's say in this region, they're like, I'll just get it repainted. It's gonna be a couple $100. That could be thousands of dollars, right? Because you probably need to get a new bumper, because the paint work is so hard to blend something like that, that sometimes even collision shops just want to replace the bumper because it's not as savable as it used to be. It's much harder to blend paint too. We don't have to get into that, but the paint is so thin on these cars. Number 3 on our list, I feel like I have to get to the rear of the car because this is where it all starts going bad, is kind of the memes, the fun that you get made out of, the fact that everyone says you drive a Honda Civic. For some reason, this car gets a ton of hate, and it has to make number 3 on our list, because you should be prepared that if you drive this amazing machine that makes lots of power and it is so radically fun to drive, that the other part of the car community is just not going to respect you. And it's coming around, but man, like, is the whole everything from, oh, every Subaru owner like vapes, or there's just a lot of Subaru stereotypes that are, they're changing. They were definitely worse, but now they're like, you know, I don't know, it's getting bad. It's enough that like people rag on Subarus enough that it's making number 3 on our list. And I think a lot of it, at least with the VB Gen, comes with the very Honda Civic-y rear, which with lots of modifications, found at JXR Performance, just kidding, well, kind of not kidding, there's a link in the description below. You can make it less Honda Civic-y, but there is some level of truth to it, but just modify it a little bit and all of a sudden it looks unique. So yeah, I guess just like the amount that people take the mick out of you is kind of, that's got to be number 3. All right, so number 4, let's see if you can guess. It could be this, 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 it could be what's right here, it could be what's underneath the engine, it could be what's inside the car. Number 4 is how much you're gonna spend on modifications. So no one ever tells you with the WRX that you're gonna spend a lot of modifications. Most of us buy these cars and we're like, yeah, we're gonna be budget friendly, we're not gonna do a lot. And then you do your first one and you start getting kind of addicted. And then you do your 5th one and you're like, I need to do another. And then you do your 10th mod and you're like, gosh, I just wanna modify my car. Partly because it's fun, partly because you wanna make the WRX your own, and partly just because you know at the end of the day, you're a pretty cool guy or a pretty cool person if you modify it, because I pretty much think anyone that modifies cars is pretty cool, but maybe that's just me, maybe that's a select few of us. It really starts to add up. I mean, and so far, and you know, I'll talk for just a second about this one, I feel that so strongly that obviously you guys know I own JXR Performance. I started a company to figure out how to make all these parts just cheaper. Not the quality, but the parts where there's just less margin so people can modify their cars more. The company literally started that. I saw that people were buying plate reloads and paying $100 for them, and I was like, I can sell plate reloads under $40, and that means more people can modify more of these WRXs and it's not going to hurt their bank account. And that's how JXR Performance came about 6.5 years ago. So number 4 on our list is just the fact that you're going to spend so much more money than you think modifying your car. No matter what you say right now, if you own one, if you're thinking about buying one, if you have an already modified one, maybe you know what I'm saying, but man, you're going to spend a fortune in mods. And the last on our list is actually kind of a sad one to some extent. This car will ruin your ability to enjoy other cars in the best of possible ways. You will never be able to come back from the all-wheel drive system on this car. The fact that not only does it have one of the best all-wheel drive systems that you can buy in any car, the fact that you can use that all-wheel drive system to put down power in a way that you will never spin your tires, which a lot of you guys are like, well, it's not a lot of power. I'm running more power than most cars can put down on a set of rear wheels with perfect, expensive tires, and I won't even squeak because my all-wheel drive system and with good tires is so damn efficient. And I will say that so strongly that you will never be able to look at a sports car the same way. When the first thing that you think about when you look at a sports car that isn't all-wheel drive is the concession that you're making, because you're not going to be able to drive it in the same way. I'm thinking about getting a Supra and doing a high horsepower build on a Supra, and I cannot shake the fact that I just can't have as much fun with that car because it's rear-wheel drive. Facts. Full stop, period. No matter what you guys want to do, you're going to argue with me. All the rear-wheel drive guys are going to argue with me. The front-wheel drive guys are just wrong. They're in their own group. Until you've owned one for a while and pushed real power on an all-wheel drive system like this in this car, you'll realize that the cars become, you can go for Audis, you can get a GTR, you can go for a Lambo, but all of a sudden you skip all the kind of medium expensive sports cars and you go to the ones that are super expensive because you realize there's nothing better than driving a sports car with all-wheel drive, and you just will never shake that. Even if you own a really fun rear-wheel drive car, you'll never shake the amount of fun that you can have and confidence driving it, which means you can drive it harder than a car like this. And it's a little sad, but it's a sad in a good way. That just the fact that we get such a good all-wheel drive system on these cars is why the car is worth every penny, period. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I know that we got a lot of informational content coming, but we are mixing in some mods for this 2022 WRX, and my 2016 WRX build is coming along. Be sure that you're subscribed to the channel, and if you want to give me some love, I really appreciate it. Just like the video and drop a comment just saying, hey, I watched the video. I'll respond to you, and it would make my day, and it would help me do more mods on the car. So if you want one reason to subscribe and comment, it's because I can put more stuff on this car for you guys.